This is a story that cuts deeper than any scripted rivalry. This is about the real grief that exists behind the curtain, a pain that no championship belt can ever heal. Please like, share and subscribe for more WWE content. We have been taught to see Roman Reigns as a tribal chief, a conquering hero, an unstoppable force of nature. We have watched him stand tall in the center of the ring, bathed in the roaring approval of tens of thousands, his expression one of cold, calculated dominance. But what happens when the music fades, when the pyro is just a memory, and the reality of a profound, unimaginable loss sets in? The news of Cody Rhodes' death sent shockwaves through the very foundation of the industry. This wasn't a storyline, this was a devastating, real-life tragedy. Across America, fans were in shock, gathering in stunned silence in bars and living rooms, their disbelief echoing the silent halls of the WWE Performance Center. Backstage at a Raw taping, the atmosphere was thick with a grief so palpable you could taste it. The usual pre-show buzz was replaced by a haunting quiet, broken only by the muffled sobs of a production assistant or the heavy, weary sigh of a veteran referee. The bright, sterile lights of the hallway felt accusatory, illuminating a truth no one wanted to see. And then, there he was. Roman Reigns, away from the cameras, seated on a production crate. The tribal chief was gone. In his place was just a man named Joe, whose shoulders were slumped under the weight of a shared history. His head was in his hands, and his body trembled with a silent, consuming sorrow. This was the man who had stood opposite Cody in the main event of WrestleMania. They had told a story of legacy and destiny for the world to see. But the story they lived was one of brotherhood, of a shared journey through the grueling independent circuits and the dizzying heights of WWE. They were two sides of the same coin, bound by a respect that transcended television time. A single tear traced a path down Roman's cheek, a stark contrast to the war paint of confidence he wears for the world. It was a moment of pure, unadulterated humanity. This was not the tears of a defeated competitor, but the heartbreak of a man mourning a fallen brother, a piece of his own history now gone forever. The U.S. crowd erupted with chants for Cody on the following show, a raw, emotional tribute that shook the arena to its core. It was no longer about cheers or boos, it was a collective scream of grief and gratitude, a way for millions to process the loss together, from coast to coast. Meanwhile, British fans in London couldn't believe it. In pubs from Manchester to the streets of Cardiff, they spoke not of the American Nightmare, the character, but of Cody Rhodes, the man, the performer who had helped globalize the sport they loved so dearly. The UK wrestling tradition was felt in every chant, a shared understanding of the performer's sacrifice. This tragedy pulls back the curtain on the real world these athletes inhabit. It's a world of constant travel, of physical punishment, and of immense pressure that takes a toll not seen on television. The glamour of WrestleMania is fleeting, the toll on the human body and spirit is permanent. Alright, we're halfway through, and things are about to take a serious turn. If you thought you knew where this was going, think again, this is where the real drama unfolds. Stay tuned, because the best is yet to come. Behind the scenes, a storm of emotion was brewing. Whispers of Cody's relentless schedule, his drive to honor his father's legacy, began to surface. The very passion that made him a star was the same flame that burned too brightly, a heartbreaking paradox known all too well. In this business, the real scandal isn't a secret affair or a backstage fight, it's the silent, often ignored, health crises that loom over the industry. It's the expectation to always be on, to perform through pain, to be a superhero for the fans, even when your own world is crumbling. This is the ultimate betrayal of trust, a system that sometimes forgets the man inside the wrestler. We saw a similar grief when the world lost Bray Wyatt. The wrestling community, from the top of the company to the newest recruit, was united in its devastation. It's a painful reminder of the fragility of life in this world they've built, a world that often feels so invincible. For Roman Reigns, a man who has himself battled leukemia and understands the preciousness of life more than most, this loss must feel like a cruel echo of his own past struggles. His tears were not just for Cody, they were for every brother lost too soon, for every legacy cut short. The American fanbase has witnessed the evolution of this brotherhood, from the early days in FCW to the grandest stage of them all. They understand that this is more than a business, it's a family, with all the love, the rivalry, and the profound loss that comes with it. In the UK, where wrestling fandom is built on a foundation of respect for the craft, this moment resonates deeply. They see past the entertainment and connect with the raw human emotion. The chants that night weren't just noise, they were a eulogy, a recognition of a life dedicated to their entertainment. The legacy Cody Rhodes leaves behind is immeasurable. It's not just about finishing the story, it's about the chapters he wrote with his integrity, his work ethic, and his undeniable love for this crazy, beautiful, and often heartbreaking business. He was a son, a husband, and a hero to many. As we move forward, the specter of this loss will linger in every arena. You will feel it in the slightly longer embraces between superstars in the ring. You will hear it in the tremor of a commentator's voice. The show will go on, as it always must, but it will be forever changed. So what are we left with? We are left with the image of a powerful man brought to his knees by grief. We are left with the understanding that behind the larger-than-life characters are real people with real hearts that can break. In the end, beyond the titles and the main events, wrestling is about connection. It's about the bond between the performers who share the ring and the bond they forge with the fans in the seats and watching at home. It is about love, loss, and the enduring loyalty that defines a legacy. Let this be a reminder to cherish the moments these athletes give us. To appreciate the passion, the sacrifice, and the humanity. For American and British fans alike, that is the real story that will never, ever finish.